What's up, everybody? Happy New Year's. I am here to tell you about some awesome opportunity. Basically, what if I told you that you can work anytime you want? You have no overhead, you have no quotas, you can make a lot of money doing this, You might be wondering what this is. Well, that's actually what happened to my girlfriend the other day, and I just want to tell you a little bit about it. I don't know if you're familiar with WFG or Transamerica. You might have run across them when you were signing up for your employer's insurance. I know if I go into my employer's insurance offerings, it'll say Transamerica, and that's for like life insurance and stuff. I don't think Transamerica is the problem in this story because you can go to their website and actually fill out an application to become an agent or whatever other offers they have. But this is more about WFG, which is a sister company of Transamerica, who does scrummy things, and they are actually under another company, both Transamerica and WFG. I'll tell you exactly what company it was. Aegon. So I guess they are sister companies of Aegon, is what was told to me. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Let me give you context. So basically, my girlfriend goes to work one day. This woman approaches her about this awesome opportunity that would help my girlfriend invest in her future, her family's future, our future, stuff like that. Do you know anybody else would like to be a part of this? And my girlfriend said, maybe me. So she told her about me and a little bit about my background and stuff. And I used to do like real estate. Uh, I used to do work with Cadillac, Buick GMC, Ford, Lincoln, basically doing BDC. So I know a little bit about like marketing and contact, like cold calling, warm calling, and all that different stuff using CRMs. I go to pick up my girlfriend one day after work, and we go to this like party thing that they were having in her job because it was like a grand opening. And I meet this woman, and she's telling me the same thing. Oh, this is a great opportunity for you and your family. You can. It's a great job. I just started like a week ago, and I make really good money, and I don't have a boss, and I can do it as like a secondary job, so I can make a little bit more income. So first thought in my mind is like, okay, if you're making so much money and it's like thousands of dollars, right? It's like $1,000 paycheck, like a $4,000 paycheck. And she showed me through her text. If you're making so much money, then why are you also doing the nail salon thing? If you know anybody who does nail, like if they're a nail tech, they make good money. I'm just like, it didn't make sense to me right off the back. I'm like, this sounds kind of scammy, right? So I'm just like, let me just play dumb. Let me go into this kind of naive and just with like open eyes and ears. We get invited to this woman's house, basically her supervisor, who then gives us a little pitch of like who they are. They give us history, blah, blah. Typical sign up to this thing sort of pitch, right? And we're all family and we support each other and all this stuff. And you're going to have a lot of support. We're going to give you the best tools. We're going to give you the best job. We're going to give you everything you ever wanted as long as you sign up. And for this 260, you're going to get a kit. You're going to get training for your licensing. Um, and what else did they say they would give me? A kit, licensing, a book, and you're gonna have access to all this different sort of mentorship. And I've heard things like this before through like real estate, but the difference is that like real estate, is there a difference? I actually don't know anymore. You're selling and buying like a physical asset, you know, and I think it's a little bit easier to understand that you're not getting scammed. Hopefully, there are still scams in real estate, but with insurance, it's a lot more complicated and convoluted. So anyways, this lady that my girlfriend knows, she doesn't speak English very well. She doesn't know math, is what she said. And she's somehow still making all these sales. And I don't think the money's coming from the sales. I don't think she's really selling anything. And if she is, I don't think she knows how this business works. So essentially, I asked a lot of questions. I'm probably going to upload the audio version of the interview because I took this, hidden to the meeting so we can record everything. And I asked a lot of questions. I asked stuff like, okay, well, if you mention multiple revenue streams, what does that mean, right? So what that means is essentially you can sell insurance, right? Or you can hire or onboard people beneath you. And then from those people beneath you, you get a percentage. You hire 3 people, you get a bump in percentage. And I'm going to show you all sorts of different marketing material on the screen. And you just like kind of take a look at that. A lot of it is circular. I don't know if I'm going to find one that is triangular, but during this PowerPoint that she was showing us, there was this like triangular hierarchy sort of thing where the supervisor is going to hire this woman who's invited us to this woman's place, the supervisor's home, and we are 2 of the 3 people that she needs to onboard so that she gets a bump in pay. And then if we hire 3 more people, then we get a bump in pay, or I get a bump in pay, and my girlfriend hires 3 more other people. Then it's really stupid. Basically, hire people, you make more money, right? That's the other revenue stream. And you can go up to as high as like 60% of a sale. And this woman kept showing me different sales that she supposedly did and how much she made after she had previously already told me that she wasn't selling products right now, that she was just like onboarding people and training people. So anyways, just during this PowerPoint, she shows us like all sorts of like different traveling that she does. She's like, oh, my daughter's a part of it, this and that. And, obviously she has money. Where this money comes from, I don't know. I think it's just from onboarding and making people below you believe strong enough that if they make a sale, that they're going to make good money, which in turn means that you get a cut of that sale. And if you have 3 people underneath you, you're just getting fed right at the top. And the people underneath are getting their revenue pulled in multiple directions, not only through taxes, not only through the person above them, but also the insurance company. Let's just say, I don't know, your pay is like $500. From that $500, the person above you is making money off of that revenue, and then the insurance companies also have to take a cut, and then you also have to file your taxes at the end of the year under a 1099, which you probably don't even know what you're doing with that. So then you have to hire an agent to help you with your taxes. Point is, you're losing in every direction, and if you think you're winning, you're greatly mistaken. It's a lot like a casino. You can win, yes. There are tips and tricks to the trade, but chances of you winning aren't in your favor, right? So anyways, let's see what other questions, because I have all of them written down. Oh, here's something interesting. She claims that they offer 380 different products, and I'll get back to that because they're really only after one product, and you should only really be selling one product if it was up to them. They work with 150 insurance companies, stuff like Nationwide. I'm sure we all know what Nationwide is, Progressive, stuff like that. Really big companies, and obviously, like I said, if you go to your employer and try to get like life insurance, I'm sure Transamerica is going to pop up, not WFG, but Transamerica, as a sort of like provider, I guess. So yeah, I asked her about leads, right? So like, what are your customers? What are your primary customers? She really couldn't answer the question, but I did mention, my time as like being a BDC agent and how different dealerships have to pay a fee to capture these leads. And, you know, out of like 1,000 leads, maybe you sell to like 20 of them, what's the turnaround rate? How do you capture those leads? She said, a lot of agents will pay for these leads and their experience is the same thing. And that's not the best way to capture um, clients or customers. She went a roundabout way of telling me that basically we got to meet people, we got to bring them on board, and that's the best way to make money, right? Then it opened the floodgates to explaining the whole hierarchy of how their system works, their triangle works, their pyramid works, right? I asked her like, who pays for all this traveling and these different trips, and she says the agents do, so like us, right? But we're compensated after those trips based on our performance, how many people we've onboarded, because they actually work. How did she word it? They work on points, right? So in order for you to like move up in tiers, you have to onboard people, and that's the only way. So it doesn't matter if you sell like $1 million premium plan to somebody, right? As long as you onboard somebody, you will outclass the person who made a bunch of sales, like legitimate insurance sales. Once you reach a certain point, then you're going to get bumped up in levels, and you're going to, instead of making 15% of each sale, you're going to make 20, 25, up to 60, right? And I asked her, how many clients do you manage personally? She said none. And I'm like, okay, so what do you do? And she's like, well, I train people, I onboard people. Interesting. Again, we're going back to that onboarding thing. sounds a lot like a pyramid scheme or like some sort of Ponzi scheme, right? I don't know the difference between the two, but they're both scams. Don't do it. That's why I'm explaining this. Anyways, the startup for this whole thing was $260. So what does that entail? What does that give me? I feel like I mentioned it before, but basically it gives you a book, software. It's like a CRM, and access to different sort of trainings and different gurus that are going to probably sell you other things. So although you might get your traveling compensated, you're still probably going to be sold a lot of other softwares and a lot of other books and different literature to indoctrinate you into this way of thinking that you are in charge of this magical business that you're selling this insurance stuff to. And you don't even have to know what you're selling, and you don't have to be financially literate. As long as you can meet somebody who's also financially illiterate, you can definitely sell to them. It's so scrummy. Anyways, you get licensed through them with that $260. They give you that book, and I'm assuming that book is a cut and dry version of what actual agents have to learn over the course of their schooling, right? So it's just going to give you the bare minimum, get you through to get to that, to get that certification, so that way you can work for WFG. But actually, you're working for yourself because you're a 1099. So that means that you're paying for all your traveling expenses, all your business needs, all your marketing material, all that different stuff. And there's a bunch of different content online if you look up WFG of different gurus, right, or different sales agents, like top earners trying to teach you how to make it in WFG or make it in this business. It's all BS. It's always something along the lines of, I can tell you 3 free things that'll net you um, potential clients, right? And you're expected to believe that they're giving you 3 things. You watch the whole video, and basically they're just going to sell you a seminar at the end of it, or a different program at the end of the video, anyways. And they literally tell you nothing about what you're selling, who your clients are, or anything really. It's really interesting. Again, I'll post, if I didn't already do it in the video, I'll post some, marketing material so you could see it. We leave this thing, and I'm just like, dude, this is a total scam. They really, really wanted us to sign up right there and then. And I said, listen, I need to think about it. I don't think it's right for me, but maybe it's good for my girlfriend. So my girlfriend goes, she plays dumb again because she's not really good at saying no. So I just kind of like let her turn the wheels of these people, make them think that she's gonna sign up, and their eyes lit up, and they start asking questions and trying to sell her like insurance. And I got a glimpse of how like predatory they are, and they really, really, really do prey on people, especially people who like don't know what they're getting into in terms of either the career or just the insurance policies. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Essentially, when she mentioned that she didn't have any sort of like life insurance or insurance, the lady goes, "Oh, let me know because I can sell you that insurance, and it helps me out." Great, but she's also going to sell her another product, and it's called Index Universal Life Insurance. It's basically a IUL. I'm sure you guys have heard about it, especially if you're on TikTok. I think there's like all sorts of TikTokers saying that this is the infinite money glitch sort of thing. I don't know if it works or not, but here's what I know. Basically, the way that it works is if you draw a circle, I don't know if you can see that, but like a circle, you have your life insurance up here, your savings down here. So it's a 2-part system. You're adding money from your premium to your savings and your life insurance, right? That's the idea, anyways. Let's just say your premium's $400. That's where it starts, right? You sign up for this thing. Over time, your premium's going to go up incrementally to the point where it's actually like substantial amounts, like an exponential growth of bills that's going to be over your head. And what it's going to do is actually pull money from your savings account. So let's just say your savings account split right now was $200. So that's what you start off in your savings. Your life insurance is $400 day one. Say next month it goes up to $410, right? You can't pay, this is just a hypothetical. You can't pay that extra $10. What it's going to do is actually pull from your savings, that $200, and now you're going to have $190. So your savings is going down. You're paying for your premium for your life insurance. You want to have money when you retire, right? This does not do that. It takes your savings and it's using your savings to pay for your life insurance over the course of your lifetime. It's really awful because, let's just say, the perfect client for something like this, for this sort of scam, is somebody who's young, who isn't financially literate, and you sell them this thing, and they invest in it for years and years and years, and they tell all their friends, hey, I got this awesome thing, and I think you should sign up for it too. And their friends sign up, right? And over the course of their lives, they're just wasting time and money, because when they actually go to retire and pull this money out, they have nothing, because they've used all that savings towards their insurance premium. It's really messed up. Additionally, if you compare the savings account to an S&P over the course of 10 years, let's just say, your IUL is going to have a return cap of like 8%, whereas the S&P is going to have like 14.5. So that's like a 6.5 difference between those two. That 6.5 difference is actually going to go to either the agent who sold you that plan, um, FWG, wait, yeah, that's what it's called, right? WFG, right? Transamerica, the insurance companies, they're going to get a piece of that cut. And maybe the agent actually doesn't get any money from that. So basically, they prey on people. They want you to sign up to work for them. Work for them. You're not actually an employee. They literally tell you that. Um, they want you to sign your friends and families up, which ruins friends and family connections. Let's just say this is your part-time gig, right? This is your hustle, and you're working at, let's just say, a shoe store, right? And you have somebody coming in trying to buy shoes, and then all of a sudden you're talking about life insurance, and you gave them awesome customer service in the shoe store, but then they find out that you're selling this insurance stuff and you can give them a good deal or whatever. They sign up with you, and months down the line they're like, what the hell is this? You screwed me over. Like, I can see that my money is not doing anything for me and I want to cancel. Then you, as an agent, your job is to keep them investing, and it's just, you're gonna ruin connections with people. It's really not a good thing. Like, for example, this lady at my girlfriend's job who put us onto this whole thing, it's like, she might not know what she's doing, but it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth, right? And like, I want to tell her that it's wrong, and I want to give her all the reasons why, but she might not understand, or believe it, because they indoctrinate you with all this literature, and you see all these people, these high earners, right? And it just looks really good on paper. And the lady's house that we went to, she clearly has money. How does she get that money though? Again, like I said before, she doesn't sell anything. She expects the people underneath her to sell things so that she can get a cut of those people. Here's a interesting fact, right? I went to their website, WFG, to see like how much an average agent makes over the course of 12 months. It's 6,534 and 77 cents, right? And quote unquote, they say many don't achieve the same level of success. So take that with a grain of salt, that that's actually what you're going to be making. So let's assume, right, that you're somebody who got reeled into this thing because you needed money. You thought it looked like a really easy, quick way to make money. It was almost too good to be true, but you signed up, whatever. Let's assume that you either A, don't have a job and that's why you did it, or B, don't have much money because you work like a part-time, or you just don't get paid enough at your job, right? It's unfortunate that you're going to spend a lot of time trying to collect these leads and go to these seminars and try to drink the corporate Kool-Aid, per se, and be a bootlicker towards these people who are essentially wasting your time and making a bunch of money, expecting you to sign up other people so that they can make more money, because there's much better ways to do this, right? Like, if you get licensed through these people and you just want out, I'm pretty sure, my understanding is that you are actually a licensed agent, but you just don't have the knowledge, right? So get well versed in it. Go somewhere else. Go directly to, let's just say, like Nationwide, and work as an agent for them specifically. So that way you can actually make some money. Because again, no matter how it works, the average person at this company only makes like $6,000 a year. And you might be thinking, well, that's a lot of money for me, right? Like, I work this part time, I don't make a lot of money. You're wasting a lot of time. You're preying on people who don't know what they're doing. This company's doing the same thing to you. Just please don't do it. Don't sell these awful life insurance plans to people who don't know any better. I mean, can you make money in it? Yeah, probably. But you have to really, like, set your morals aside to do so. And again, you're gonna lose friends. It's not worth it. All right, sorry, my camera turned off. So, why does that matter to the person who's scamming other people who is also getting scammed? Is they're trying to sell you this crappy product that is not going to make anyone money, you know? Because realistically, remember, if you make that sale off this insurance, a portion of that, let's just say the 60% revenue for the person above you who is your supervisor, that comes from you, right? So, like, what are you left with? Like, crumbs? It's crazy to me. Let's just say you're working a part-time at like McDonald's and you're like, I have all this extra time, $6,000 isn't that bad. Keep in mind, like, you're wasting time doing this, like literal hours of your life doing this to make $6,000 when you could be doing anything else. You can literally invest that time in applying to other jobs where you're gonna get a full-time job with better pay, right? Like, it's crazy. If I was doing this right, I would think that I would be looking for quality employees, right? And that's not to say that these people who are fresh off the boat, let's just say, or don't know anything about finances can't learn that stuff or have good work ethic. It's just like, why not find a good quality hire for this thing instead of just finding, I don't know, maybe it's like I can't even finish my thought. Like, they're just preying on people's emotions, I think. That's just like the thing that makes it so scrummy is like you're seeing somebody who is, again, A, has a part-time job, B, isn't making enough money, wants to make a little bit more money. You're making all these promises and they're acting on emotion to sign up to this thing. And you're just bleeding other people dry by selling them this BS insurance. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents on this thing. Let me see, can I rant some more? Because I really hate this. Alright, so if you made it to the end of the video, my microphone unfortunately died, so I'm just going to use the phone like this. Go ahead and, share this with somebody who is thinking about doing this. Save them the time, the money, and, especially somebody who's like looking to buy insurance from this company or buy something like this. Hopefully they can learn how the scam works a little bit through this video, and you keep them from also wasting time and money. I don't know if I'm going to be uploading the audio portion of that meeting because I did record the whole meeting between this lady and us. If I do upload it, I don't know if I ever mentioned it, but it's going to be slightly edited because I don't know if it's the right thing to do to share their names or not, because again, I don't know if these women know what they're doing. So yeah, thanks for watching. Look for that video.